XTERRA is known for its spirited community, its dazzling locales, and its punishing courses. But another of the sport's hallmarks is its inclusivity. XTERRA invites athletes with all kinds of physical challenges to participate, persevere, and excel.
I think what's great about triathlon for athletes with disabilities, it's what I call an equal opportunity abuser, because it doesn't care. The sport doesn't care if you're missing a leg, if you're missing an arm, if you're 300 pounds. You can do this sport. You can swim and you can bike and you can always fake it in the run. So I've always found that triathlon is the perfect sport for getting somebody who's looking to develop more self-confidence, who's looking to overcome whatever they're dealing with right now.
This is the one race that has eluded me. It's been in my grasp and then it's been gone. I want it bad. I definitely am not going to go down without a fight this year.
Little did Jamie Whitmore know then the fight she had in front of her. Whitmore is the winningest woman in XTERRA history. And with an emotional victory at the 2004 World Championships, she claimed the one title her resume had been missing. But 4 years later, Whitmore was diagnosed with cancer. The removal of her gluteus and hamstring left her without the use of her lower left leg. Whitmore rebuilt her career in the years that followed, winning Paralympic cycling medals and an ESPY award, and giving birth to twin sons. A run of success that not even the most qualified medical experts could have predicted.
I had a bunch of doctors that were in my surgery. It was the nerve doctor that when I was going in for a checkup a little bit after the surgery who had said, when I asked, do you think I'll ever ride a mountain bike again? And he told me, maybe a stationary bike. And I said, no, a mountain bike. I'm asking about a mountain bike. And he says, well, I think you'll be able to ride a stationary bike. I don't know, I couldn't sit with that. I knew I'd never run again. I knew I'd probably be able to swim, but I couldn't live with not being able to ride a bike again. So, of course, I didn't want to listen to him, and my oncologist then said, if anybody can get back on a bike again, it would be you. So the process of getting back on the bike again was different than learning to mountain bike the first time, because there was this leg discrepancy. I had to get a special AFO, which is an ankle foot orthotic, or a brace that was stiff enough to allow me to ride. And once I got all of that and I rode for the first time, the words that would describe it would be like freedom, because I hadn't ridden a bike in 3 years, but it was also really awkward and uncomfortable, and I hadn't ridden a bike for 3 years. So sitting on the saddle and then having this weird like waddle because I had no hamstring, but yet no matter how weird it was, I was so excited to be riding again that I didn't care how awkward. And now riding a bike is one of the only times that I don't feel like I have a disability.
I'm trying to think how I even usually get out of here. I usually drop the bike.
In 2016, 8 years after her initial diagnosis, Whitmore fulfilled a lifelong athletic dream.
When Jamie was a little girl, she spent all this time when she was 5, 6, 7 years old watching the Olympics on TV. Like, I want to be there. And then she has this tumor taken out of the back of her leg, realizes she's going to have drop foot and never run again, finds paracycling, and I was there in 2016 when she went to Rio, and I was at the velodrome when she wins a silver medal, and then ends up winning the road race and wins the gold medal. And her dream as a little girl was to be at the top of a podium with her anthem playing, and she was at the top of the podium with her anthem playing in a journey that nobody thought she would ever make. And what Jamie Whitmore did is not only get to the top of the podium and have the anthem go up and have the anthem go and the flag go up, her twin sons were there to see that. It was probably one of the greatest moments ever.
The Rio Paralympics was one of the most incredible things I've ever ever been a part of. I mean, as a kid, when I would watch the Olympics, the swimming and all of that, I would always imagine that one day I wanted to be there, and I was hoping XTERRA would get to the Olympics because why not? It's the coolest sport out there. I still feel like a pro. I'm still the elite athlete. I still train as much as I did before. I still get paid, but I'm a pro para athlete who is a mom and a cancer survivor with a disability. I'm all of it.
XTERRA Adventures is presented by Tea Tree. The Experience. Discover the magic of Tea Tree. XTERRA. Racing and apparel for your active lifestyle. Visit xterraplanet.com. This segment is presented by Tea Tree. The Experience. Discover the magic of Tea Tree.
Jim was the first wheelchair athlete to be on the cover of a national magazine. And my staff was like, you're putting a wheelchair guy on the cover, people won't be able to relate to it. I think what happens is people meet Jim McLaren or they meet a Jim Knob, and they understand that, you know what? Those guys have a challenge. They're missing a leg, they're in a wheelchair. They're still doing this sport. What's my excuse?
Excuses have never been part of Willie Stewart's repertoire. Stewart, a former wrestler and rugby player, lost his left arm in a construction accident when he was 18. For a few dark months after the trauma, he struggled, thinking his athletic days were behind him. But with the encouragement of his mother and some sports mentors, including Bob Babbitt, Stewart started triathlon and discovered that even without an arm, he was really fast.
What doesn't impress me about one-arm Willie Stewart, a guy is just, you think about it, I was thinking about this the other day. He is probably on the short list of one of the greatest endurance athletes in history. When you talk about a guy who's won medals in cross-country skiing to Paralympics, he's kayaked the Grand Canyon, he's obviously done XTERRA numerous times, and times where he had arms that were built from other people's pieces. He did the Ironman with one arm before he had a prosthetic arm, where he couldn't take his hand off the handlebar to grab a water bottle at an aid station.
Stewart's tenacity and dedication to training are the foundation of his success. But the improvement in prosthetic technology has also helped him to excel.
My XTERRA World Championship was a gutsy move for me. It was the first time I ever put on a prosthetic arm was when I did XTERRA.
The first athlete to race in XTERRA with a breakaway arm, Stewart was a pioneer for disabled endurance athletes, figuring it out as he went along. Now a veteran of 7 XTERRA World Championships, he inspires both able-bodied and challenged athletes with his fast finishes and his willingness to do tough things.
I don't think a lot of people realize that it's really hard to compete in sports for many of my brothers and sisters with disabilities. But when you're competing in sports such as XTERRA, I mean, that takes a lot of guts, a lot of courage. And anyone that gets out there and toes the line, and I think all the other competitors know it. When the other competitors see a challenge athlete out there, I think it motivates them, inspires them. And the more that are on the line with me at the start, when I hear the gun go off and we hit the serve, I'm fired up, and I'm proud to be on the same race course with a lot of people with disabilities that years ago would never try it.
The variety of things this guy does, plus obviously he's a role model for every challenged athlete on the planet, because he is one of those people who has no problem calling BS on somebody if he feels they're not pushing hard enough. It's like, listen, I can do this, so can you. And he also understands that he is an ambassador for all of sport, and that it's important for him to, when he's at XTERRA and people are questioning their life decisions, in the morning of the race, they're questioning life decisions. It's dark, they're about to jump in the ocean, the waves are big, they know the bike ride is brutal, they know the run is even harder, and they're thinking, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, I should have stayed in bed. Then they see this guy with one arm with more confidence than anybody on the planet, and their mentality becomes, if he can do it, I can do it. And Willie loves that.
Giving options to disabled athletes is the core mission of the Challenged Athletes Foundation. Its supporters believe that no disability should prevent someone from enjoying physical activity and competitive sport. For decades, the CAF has partnered with Paul Mitchell, raising money through events like cuttathons, in which hairdressers volunteer their time and shaggy athletes and their families get their locks locked off for a worthy cause.
The thing with Paul Mitchell is they embraced the plight of the challenged athlete from the very beginning. Through XTERRA, through Challenged Athletes Foundation, through a series I used to have called the Muddy Buddy Ride and Run series, they always did cut-a-thons and they always raised money for CAF. And it was, our athletes would always make it a point. I'm sure they do at XTERRA as well. The cool part is people who they bring out from the local hairdressers to do the cut, a lot of them don't know why the heck they're up at 5 in the morning to come out to the facility event until they get there. And those are the people who become the most passionate about our cause and end up doing even more fundraising beyond the cut-a-thon. So Paul Mitchell has been a valued partner for Challenged Athletes Foundation forever and ever.
For Paul Mitchell representatives who experience races firsthand, the invigorating spirit of XTERRA is inspiring.
Everything about the XTERRA ethos match hand in hand with Paul Mitchell. You know, Paul Mitchell was founded on the ethos of being an environmentally friendly, cruelty-free, philanthropic, be good stewards of the earth, you know, leave this place better for the next generation. And XTERRA, the motto is live more. And everybody embodies that, you know, get outside, enjoy Mother Nature, push the boundaries a little bit, you know, see what you're capable of. And that ties into professional hairstylists as well. We just have different canvases. So it's a match made in heaven in my eyes. Just Paul Mitchell and XTERRA go hand in hand because of the shared core values. At the XTERRA events, we set up a mobile salon. You've got 8 chairs, tables, all the sanitizing materials you need. So we host a cut-a-thon each day of the race in exchange for donations, and all those donations go back to the charity, specifically at XTERRA, it's Challenged Athletes Foundation. A lot of the hairstylists and school members that come to our events or come to the XTERRA events have never seen a race like that before. And they walk away like, holy moly, I can't believe that people can actually do this.
True to the global spirit of the sport, challenged athletes from all around the world are drawn to XTERRA. In China, Jiachao Wang, who lost his left arm in a horrific accident when he was 5, showcased astounding resilience, teaching himself to swim as a child, and going on to win gold at the Paralympics.
Every athlete is different. Every person who becomes challenged is different. Some of them were not athletes before. And then others were athletes and they were in baseball, football, basketball and realized, okay, now I'm going to be playing wheelchair basketball. Or now I'm going to find a new sport. And what I love is when you find an athlete who, you know, has an injury, never thought of themselves as an Olympian, and next thing you know, they're going to the Paralympics, right? They all of a sudden found that they were good at something that they didn't know they'd be good at.
Wang's skills in the water earned him Paralympic gold, but his biggest gift as an athlete is his mental fortitude.
I like challenge, I like do things that I want to do. I think I am a little bit talented of swimming, but actually my talent is endure, working hard, and then never give up.
In 2017, Wang turned his focus to XTERRA.
That was so cool, and then that was very exciting because it's more close in the nature, close to, for example, swim in the wild, like very high wave, like 5 meters high or 6 meters high in the wild sea, and then to cycling in the very difficult trail. During the competition, many people just tell me to go, go, go. You are working hard. You are so great. And then when I fall down, and then other people, they stopped and then helped me to stand up, and then asked me, "Are you okay?" And then I said, "I'm good, thank you." This is the friendship, and then this is very close to the nature, and then you can see the very beautiful scenery, very beautiful mount, and then sea, and then everything. So I think this is the key reason that many people like this.
Wang, already a Paralympic champion in swimming, now hopes to qualify for China's 2021 Paralympic triathlon team. In the meantime, his dedication and resolve inspire his fellow athletes, both challenged and able-bodied. XTERRA Adventures is presented by Tea Tree. The Experience. Discover the magic of tea tree. XTERRA. Racing and apparel for your active lifestyle. Visit xterraplanet.com. Judy Abrahams, an XTERRA athlete from Alaska, was a multi-time Ironman finisher when in 2006 she suffered a catastrophic injury. Ultimately, for Abrahams, losing a limb meant gaining a chance to move forward with her life.
I was in a cycling accident 10 years ago where I was on a training ride and got involved with a vehicle, shattered my leg, and was in the hospital for quite a while. Went through multiple surgeries, and subsequently, after 5 years of pain and not so fun times, wound up having my leg amputated. I think for me, the decision to amputate was not difficult at all, just because my quality of life at that point was really bad. I couldn't do things with my family. I couldn't do the things that I really wanted to do. So for me, the amputation helped me to get my life back. Awesome, thank you. I do feel that I can be an inspiration to other people. I want to be able to give people the opportunity to say, hey, if she can do it, then maybe I can do it. Yeah, sometimes they're hard, but you can get through them, you can pull through them, and it's not bad all the time. There are some great days out there, and you just have to sometimes fight a little harder for them. But it's well worth it.
Like Abrahams, all XTERRA athletes understand the power of sport to improve their days and ultimately their lives. Even with disabilities, these XTERRA warriors strive to improve, to persevere, to get stronger, faster, and tougher.
XTERRA is hard, whether you are physically challenged or not. It's just a difficult course to do. These folks are inspiring without even trying, or that's not their intention. They are just out there to do it and prove to themselves, to whomever, that, hey, I can do this. You know, yeah, life dealt me a different set of cards, but it doesn't make me any different. Let me get out there and do what I can. And watching, you know, these CAF folks cross that finish line from doing a full triathlon, it's just so inspirational and motivating.
When Jamie Whitmore returned to competition after cancer, she drew strength from the warm welcome she received from the entire XTERRA community.
I remember being a pro. You're racing for money, and you're racing for points at the end all for the USA Championship. But not one guy, one pro guy that passed me didn't stop to like either high five or pat me on the back or say something like slow down to say like, it's so great to see you out here. So it was at that point that it became incredibly emotional for me because it was just such a long journey and nobody thought I'd be there. And here all these guys were in the middle of a heated race where you're battling out to win. They took the time to encourage me and acknowledge the fact that I was out there. Right here.
Willie Stewart knows the outlook for challenged athletes today is much brighter than it was when he had his accident.
I think that 18-year-old kid now would be pretty lucky, because someone would walk into the hospital room and say, you know, get off your ass and let's get some stuff done. And no one said that to me. No one told me that I could do anything. All I heard was like, too bad, so sad. And now I know that folks get in a hospital with an amputation, kids are born with disabilities. There's always someone visiting mom and dad. Somebody's in there all the time to motivate them early and believe in them. You can do anything, but you can't do anything unless you get the guts, the courage to get on that starting line.
Coming up in the next episode of XTERRA Adventures, there may be no other sport with competition venues as varied, as remote, and as staggeringly beautiful as XTERRA. From Maui to Mexico, Tahiti to Taiwan, we take a look at the best XTERRA locations in the world. You'll want to watch, and then you'll want to go, and explore our planet through off-road endurance sports. That's next time on XTERRA Adventures.